Hey everyone, welcome to Mike and the Mad Pod, episode 7. And before I get into what is sure to be another week of lackluster NFL picks by yours truly, who I believe I'm now 4-8 on the campaign, 1-2 last week after a disappointing Sunday for me. Thursday looked great. Thanksgiving was great for me. It was a lot better than my co-host Anthony Iotti, who unfortunately fared worse than I did at 0-3. But 4-8 on the campaign. And hopefully I can bring some luck this go-around in Week 13. But before I get into all of that, there are two bits of New York sports info that I want to get into. And I wish my co-host was with me today. Unfortunately, he could not make the drive up from Boston to Stroudsburg. But the 2 points are the Yankee manager and the quarterback of the Giants, and that's where we start this show. Let's begin with Eli Manning and the decision by head coach Ben McAdoo to sit him down after 210 starts as the Giants quarterback. Now, folks, if you're a long-time listener to the show, and I mean going back to 3 weeks, you will have tuned in to my rant where I talked about how rock bottom for this team came when they hosted L.A., the Rams, at home, when they gave up 51 points in their own building. And it's just amazing to me how much this season has spiraled out of control for this Giant team. When you look at Ben McAdoo, who came out, and I believe it was on Tuesday, came up to the mic and casually told you that Geno Smith will be the starting quarterback this week, and that Geno Smith gives them the best chance to win, you have to, any Giant fan out there who defended Ben McAdoo can no longer do it. Because this is a man who's going to get run out of town, and whether it's him, Jerry Reese, John Mara, you have to question the decision, because it makes no sense. Now, if you can recall last week when I was on with Anthony, I told you that it is possible to bench Eli if they did it the right way, if they decided to play with Davis Webb, which, again, I still am for. I think they still need to look at Davis Webb. But this idea that Geno Smith gives the Giants any chance of winning, when the man has been in the league for 4 years, has been a journeyman, has been terrible with the Jets, and came to the Giants as a backup, when the man has thrown 40 career interceptions in 4 years, when the man's mobility in the pocket was effective for about 2 minutes. He had one decent year in his rookie year, went 8-8. But this is the guy that's going to lead this team. This is the guy that's going to replace Eli Manning, who has such selflessness in the locker room, who's a leader, who's been the captain for this team for how many years now, is going to get replaced by a guy who got punched out by one of his teammates. Let's remember, folks, and Giant fans remember, they know the Jets, right? Geno Smith, his last memory of being associated with the New York Jets was getting punched out by one of his teammates. And this is the guy that's going to come in and lead this locker room? It's going to do a better job than the 2-time MVP Eli Manning? I mean, this is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard in my entire life. And I cannot see how Ben McAdoo survives this. Jerry Reese survives this. And the only thought in my mind to which they may be able to survive is I think Ben McAdoo is trying to save face here. Because if by the grace of God or a miracle, the Giants somehow go into Oakland. Actually, I'm not sure if the game's in Oakland or not. But if they somehow beat Oakland, Ben McAdoo will probably come out and tell you that the reason they won is because Geno Smith is more mobile than Eli Manning. And that to me is ridiculous. When Geno Smith is not that mobile, okay? He's faster than Eli Manning, but is he as effective? No. Can he lead the offense as well as Eli can? No. And does Eli have any weapons all right now? No, he does not. So for Ben McAdoo to tell you, and Jerry Reese and John Mara, and say that the reason the Giants are not playing well right now is because of the quarterback play is ridiculous. It's absolutely absurd, and it makes no sense. And it's unfair to a quarterback who's been so great for that town. And now, folks, I'm going to evaluate my statement and tell you that this is rock bottom for this team. I don't care if they get blown out in the next 4 games. This is rock bottom. And Eli's handled it with class, and I can see him going to Jacksonville next year. Tom Coughlin's there. I can see that happen, very realistically. So I don't think you've seen the last of Eli Manning if you're a Giant fan, or Eli Manning fan, I should say. But I just can't see how this gets worse. And when I look at this decision from every point of view, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Geno Smith gives this team the best chance to win. How? Someone please, if you could tell me, if you could write in the comment section below, I will dedicate the show to you. If you could explain to me why Geno Smith's a better choice. And Davis Webb, a quarterback who they need to take a look at with the draft coming up, is not even active for the game. He's not even active. It's ridiculous that they even made this choice when you look at the decision. Folks, I'll tell you, and I give Eli a lot of credit for putting up with this crap, but he shouldn't. This is ridiculous, and it's going to go down. I mean, this Giant team is going to have as a laughing stock. One of the worst teams in New York sports history, and I think when you look at the level of disappointment, this has got to be up there for most disappointing season as a New York sports history. I mean, the Mets are close, and I do want to have a guest on, and I'm going to ask him. I'm not sure he was aware, but I want to talk Met baseball over Christmas, and I'll talk to him when the time comes. But this, to me, is the most disappointing season in New York sports history, and just because not only have they came in with such high expectations, right? They're going to finish at the bottom of the league, and they're going to tarnish the quarterback who brought this town 2 Super Bowls. I mean, folks, you know. What do you say? You know, Eli, you had a good run here, and this Giant team is a laughing stock, and they're going to get blown out. And I just think, you know, it's just, I wonder if Ben McAdoo is going to be back, because you never know. If they're letting him make this move, that means John Mara has faith in him, which means he might be back. You never know. I don't think he will be. I don't think he should be. But if you're John Mara, why would you allow Ben McAdoo to make this move? And maybe it's not coming from Ben McAdoo. Maybe it's coming from a different direction. But it just doesn't make any sense to me why it would happen. So, yeah, I need to bring a Giant fan on here and see if they can break this one down for me, because I can't understand it. But there are my thoughts there, and this will probably be the last time I talk about the Giants on this show for a while, unless something spectacularly odd happens. You know, I couldn't even think of something more outrageous to happen to this team than Eli not starting. But I can't think of another way I would talk about him. So until the Giants beat the Cowboys in the next couple of weeks when Dallas is in the hunt. And, you know, maybe I should do a show about the Cowboys coming up here, because I am a Cowboy fan, and I have 3 shows dedicated to the Giants and none of the Cowboys. So expect that in the future. But they're my thoughts there. I wish I did have my co-host Anthony on for this one, because I think he'd bring a lot to the table here. But let's move into the Yankees now. And this is not going to be more of a rant, because I really don't know how to react to this. But the Yankees have announced that Aaron Boone is going to be the next manager of the Yankees. I believe it's the 35th manager in Yankee franchise history. And to me, that's fine. I can't really react either way to this, because Aaron Boone does not have any experience managing. I heard he hasn't even been in the locker room since 2010, so I have no idea what he's going to bring. Aaron Boone, obviously, the Yankee fans is familiar from his 2003 Aaron Bleepit Boone home run off of Tim Wakefield in the 11th inning of Game 7, 2003, which is why Yankee fans know and love him. And frankly, that's why he has a job, I think. I think if Aaron Boone doesn't hit that home run in 2003, I don't think you'll ever hear of Aaron Boone again. But I think that one play is why he is so famous and why he's the new manager. But I'm trying to give some kind of point of view here. Aaron Boone spent the last couple years with ESPN doing broadcasting, which, you know, I suppose that means he likes analytics. I don't know. He's very analytical. If he's studying the game, he knows the game. So I guess you're bringing in a guy who knows the game and studied the game. But besides that, I can't give you any thought. I'm going to have to see what he looks like when he comes out here in March, or in February and March in spring training, and see what he has to say. But if Aaron Boone hits Aaron Judge 4th, Greg Bird 3rd, and plays the young guys, I'll be happy. Honestly, that's all it'll take, because I don't think the manager in baseball has that drastic of a, what's the word I'm looking for, of a role in the play of the team, in terms of, because the players have to go out there and play. You know what I mean? This is not like the NFL where you need chemistry and whatnot. A baseball team, you go out there, you play. If the pitcher is good, hot that day, he's going to win. You know, if CC Sabathia is able to channel his younger self, throw 7 shutout innings, and the closer comes in and pitches 2 shutout innings, hey, that's great. It's not on Aaron Boone. So we'll see, and you'll get a hot point of view from me when the time comes, but that's not going to be right now. But those are my 2 New York sports rants right there, trying to keep it a lot shorter this beginning of this show, because I know the last one kind of went over. So that's it for me. So let's get into these picks, and let's cue that music, because I forgot to last time. All right, so let's begin this Week 13 of football with the last game of the week, actually. Monday night, Philly hosts the Seattle Seahawks. And in this one, folks, I think it's pretty obvious. I'm going with Philly. I believe the spread right now is 5.5. Actually, wait, it's 4. So Philly is only 4-point favorites. Wow, so I think Philly easily wins this game, much more than 4 points. I think Seattle's really injured right now in the secondary. They don't have their big 3. They don't have Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor, all out for the year. And there's one more guy I think that's actually hurt. But you couple that with how well Carson Wentz has played. He is the MVP of this league. And with those offensive weapons, I think Philly wins this one big. I don't think Seattle can do enough offensively to to counter the Philly air raid attack and their running game. So I think Philly wins this one big. And once again, I did not pick a score here, but let's just say Philly, scores, more than 35 points as well. I'm really confident in that. So that to me is my easy pick of the week. But as history has shown, that my picks have been pretty spotty. So let's just say Philly easily covers the spread and wins this game. Now, pick number 2 is where I get to be a little creative here, and this is where it gets kind of scary. So I'm actually going to go in San Diego, where for the first time I'm going to pick a Browns game. Now, if you've been following, Browns have lost every single game they've played this year. Now, I think that'll continue in this one. I think San Diego is the hottest team in the AFC right now. They've just been dominant, even though they don't have a winning record. But they've been absolutely on fire at 5-6, playing really well after losing their first 4 games this year. But I don't know. I'm going to go with Cleveland in this one, and that might be a little crazy. Not to win, but to cover the spread. Browns are 14-point dogs, but they get a little boost with Josh Gordon. And folks, this pick is crazy by me. I realize, even thinking about it now, looking at my notes here, I have to go with it. I think Cleveland's going to have to start playing better eventually, and San Diego's going to have to cool down. And this is the NFL, and anything can happen, especially in the AFC this year. We've seen that. I think Josh Gordon gives them a little bit of a boost where they cover the spread. They're not winning this game. They won't win. They'll cover the spread, though. And I think next week you might see the Mad Pod here pick Cleveland, but it's not going to be this week. I mean, to win. I'm picking them to cover this week, but not to win. So let's go with Cleveland and that one to cover. And the last one's going to come in Tennessee, where the Texans play Tennessee. Houston 7-point dogs. But I honestly think, and Tennessee sits at 7-4 right now, and they are in the hunt, if not already in playoff contention. I'm not entirely sure, but I don't know. I look at this Tennessee roster, and I'm not that impressed. I'm going to be honest with you. Obviously, they have Marcus Mariota and DeMarco Murray and a Derrick Henry platoon at running back. I'm just not impressed with the receiving side of the ball. I'm not impressed with their defense, and the fact that they're 7-4 right now is a bit of an anomaly to me. I think it just goes to show the competition they've played, because they haven't played very close or tough games. So I'm actually going to go with Houston this one to win, honestly. Even without Deshaun Watson, they're 7-point dogs, but I think Houston's going to win this one, actually, shockingly. Now, Houston's not without their own set of problems. Obviously, with Deshaun Watson being out, their quarterback situation's kind of in flux. They have Lamar Miller and DeAndre Hopkins, and I think those offensive weapons will be enough to overcome Tennessee in this one. I like Houston. I know it's kind of shocking, but we're going to go with Houston to win this one, actually. Win this one outright. Even though they're 7-point dogs, I think you're going to see a victory in Tennessee this week. All right, folks, that is it for us today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and hopefully when I join back with you guys next week, I'm a little bit better than 4-8. So keep that in your mind, and have a great day. Thank you so much again.